So,
This is weird, first of all.
why?
It's like you're one of my best friends and I'm sitting here like I've never met you before. It's very strange.
Jen, hi. Rapid fire questions.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah,
Ready?
ready.
Quick.
Okay.
No screwing around.
Okay.
Okay. Classic or modern?
Modern.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was quick. Light and airy or dark and moody?
Moody, baby.
Okay. Indoor or outdoor?
Outdoor. It's more of a challenge, but the lighting is so much better.
You are good at this. Pinterest or Instagram?
Instagram. I hate Pinterest.
No screwing around. I love this.
I know what I want.
Least favorite color?
Pink.
Wow.
I don't like it. I wear it because it's apparently a good color for me, but I don't like it. Ask Jackson, he'll tell you all about it.
Favorite venue?
That's tricky. There's a lot of things that you have to think about with that one.
I knew we'd snag you somewhere along the lines.
Blackberry Mountain.
Aha! We had a good experience.
We had a great
there.
experience there.
Yeah, we really did.
Very, very good.
Really,
very little.
Karen Silver.
Karen Silver. Very
Yeah.
little negative anything. Very little. We saw a black bear.
We did see a
Remember,
black
we saw those
bear.
bears, those baby bears.
And then anything you did to that space, it was just magical.
Yeah.
Because it was magical already.
Yeah, I
So
mean, it was a challenge.
just
I don't care about a challenge. Give me 30 days to plan a wedding in a different state that I've never been to.
On the top of a mountain.
On the top of a mountain.
Yeah.
But it's my all-time favorite wedding, for sure.
Honeymoon location recommendations.
I don't have a location because I wish I traveled more and I just don't yet. But I do have a suggestion that not to go right after your wedding.
Okay.
I think you should wait
How long?
3 months.
3 months.
Calm down, get through all the wedding stuff, enjoy,
Uh-huh.
and then go.
I think that's sage advice.
I tell
Yeah.
everybody that. It's too much to go right after.
I like that. Buttercream or fondant?
Buttercream.
Really? Okay, that's surprising. Best resource for bridal inspiration?
Fabric.
I love that answer.
I love fabric, and I think that you can pull so much from it. I tell the girls all the time when they're doing inspo, don't feel like you have to give me pictures of exactly what you want. Give me something you love. I don't care if it's a pillow, I don't care if it's curtains in your house, a rug, a location, anything, and we can pull from that because there's something in there that you love, and that's what we want to give you.
Stop. Give me the bone.
But Dad!
We're done with the bone. We're done with the bone. You can go in here, huh? Right here. Favorite personal touch to a wedding,
Surprise element.
i.e.
I like doing something for the client that they didn't expect, don't know about, and it usually ends up being their favorite part of their day.
So give me an example.
Oh gosh, what's something? Now you're putting me on the spot. I have to remember. Okay, so little things. It doesn't have to be a big thing, right? But I did this wedding with these two ladies a couple of months ago. Super sweet. And they had very thoughtful like menu cards. They designed them all. It was really very thoughtful as far as the placement of everything, which is great. And when it came to their card box, it was just a card box, right? It's boring. So they had this love for they're birders. They go birding.
That's a verb?
I think birding. I think birding is a thing. I don't know. I don't bird.
Birders?
I don't bird. I don't know. They hike a lot. I mean,
Like breeders?
I don't know. Anyway, they had a thing for birds. And flamingos were like just one of their little touches along the way. So I did a flamingo card box for them and didn't tell them. And they just thought it was the coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
They didn't notice the day of the wedding. They saw it in pictures. Because, you're busy doing all the things, but they got the pictures back.
Least area of concern.
Yeah, they're not going over there.
Yeah.
But yeah, just little stuff. It doesn't have to be like a big grand gesture, but just something little.
Yeah.
Is I like doing that.
So details that matter.
Of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course. That's where you find the devil, I hear.
Proudest professional moment.
I think it's to come. We have that TV show coming out. They filmed last month, and it comes out in July. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
What is? Tell me more about it.
It's airing in Canada to start, and then they're pitching it to TLC for next season.
Fantastic.
And it was based on a wedding that we did, a multicultural wedding that we did at Pal Crosley. And they filmed us much like this. Talk about the business in the studio. Filmed on site.
Who interviewed you?
Her name was Isabel. She was lovely. She's French Canadian.
Nowhere near as pleasurable
Not
as this
even close.
experience is.
Not even close.
Most used item in your emergency kit.
Eyelash glue.
Eyelash glue.
Yep.
Only for eyelashes?
Indian weddings, we use it for the dot. Swear to God. We do. It comes off. It's what works. Am I the best one so far? You love me the most.
You're fast with it.
Oh my God. Least favorite style?
Traditional. Pink and white. Back to the pink. Yeah, I don't know. I like different. I like doing things differently. I like thinking about things differently, designing differently.
Yeah.
Never the same thing twice.
Yeah.
So traditional is kind of boring
I think
for me.
that's why we work so well together.
Probably. I'll do traditional if we can.
Of course.
It's just not my favorite.
Yeah, yeah. Hardest lesson learned in business?
Not taking on everything. I'm still learning that.
I was going to ask that.
I'm still learning that.
That was the follow-up.
But not taking on everything is really hard for me. Overextending myself.
And why?
Because I want to do all of it. I don't like saying no in general. I was just on a phone call with a bride, client, possible, yesterday. And they were asking a bunch of questions, and I was like, I don't say no well. If you want, it's a challenging location. They want to get married on Casey Key in the sand with 250 people, and the beach is like this big.
Yeah.
So I just kind of said, I'm not going to tell you no. I'm going to say, let's look at the space and let's explore some options. But I really don't say no very well at all. I want to do all of it. All the things.
It's one thing to say no to everyone who calls and says, are you available? Can you do this? Can you do that? It's another thing to say no to someone where I've talked to 5 people and they all said that they can't do this and they told me to call you. And if it could be done, you're the one to do it. It's 2 different kinds of no, right?
Absolutely. And the no that I have learned to be okay with is we both have to be a good fit, right? So as a planner, we're working with them very closely for an extended period of time. So I'm not for everybody, that's fine. They're not for everybody, that's fine too. And it's really important to find your person when you're planning because you really do talk to them all the time. All the time. And if it's not going to be enjoyable for both parties, it's just not going to be a good experience.
And emotions go like this too, you know, and you rub up against like financial constraints and, you know, uncomfortability and relatives that you all of the things that set people off. So
absolutely. As vendors, we're a buffer. We're a buffer between family, finances, and wants and needs of a couple. And it's our job to somehow check as many boxes as we can without ruffling as many feathers as possible.
Navigate through that. Walk through a landmine and not step on anything. Interesting. The best tip for a newly engaged bride?
I mean, should I say hire a planner? But because that's the truth. We do our best work when we're hired from the beginning. That's just the way that it is. Instead of after you've picked some vendors that may not have been the best choice for one reason or another, or the venue. Sometimes they pick a venue, makes no sense whatsoever. We prefer to be booked first, but aside from that, I think planning the wedding that you want, as aside from planning a wedding that your mom wants or your best friend wants or your family wants, that would be my biggest piece of advice, because a lot of the brides and grooms and brides and brides, whatever, are trying to please someone, whether it's dad or mom or their significant other, their fiance or whatever it is. As a couple, I really think you should be like, what do we want?
Yeah.
And then go do that.
And it's important because it is the first public declaration and first time that you are like in front of all your peers that means something to you, and you're showing them who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. There's people that are going to be at your wedding that know you. There's people there that are going to know your fiance and or spouse, and there's going to be people there who have never met the other, and they're kind of excited to, you know, ready to celebrate your new life together.
And
so
giving
it should
them
be
a window.
it should be reflective of your life. It shouldn't be reflective of what you think you want or what they said you wanted. Do what you want. You want to go away, go away. If you want a big wedding, have a big wedding. If you don't do it. Because the planning process is not going to be enjoyable if you're planning something you're not passionate about.
And the experience too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
'Cause you're
exactly.
like, oh, why did I do
Exactly.
that? Why did I listen to mom here? Yeah, all of that. Favorite flower? That's the way I answer this question.
I don't know, because I feel like there's obviously so many choices, and they all, aside from those that will not be named, have a place, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I like fuller flowers, but I also like little doots too. You know, like the little guys have a place too.
What'd
Can't forget
you call
about them.
it?
A little doot, just like a little doot. You know.
Yeah. So you're not going to answer that.
I don't have an answer for that question. I don't know. I don't know. I like different flowers and different applications.
Yeah.
I don't love hydrangeas, but I understand they have a place in some designs as well, like support staff. Like in my home, if we're talking about like in my house flowers, I usually have tulips.
You know what? I think as a floral designer, tulips have always kind of been looked at as pedestrian. That said, there are so many. The market has opened up to this extreme kind of cool hybrid tulips that are parrot tulips, fringe tip tulips,
the little furry ones at the end,
double bloom tulips. I mean, all of these really cool, and they can be manipulated in ways which oftentimes we don't manipulate much. But with tulips, I like reflexing the petals, that sort of thing, so they can be presented in so many different ways. And some of these parrot tulips just look like a smear of a painter's palette.
Yeah, they're just pretty.
On the petal. They're gorgeous.
I'm not a floral designer, obviously. I can put flowers in a vase and it looks okay, but we have a big long feasting table in our dining room, and I have little vessels that are down the table all the time, and it's easy to run wherever and just pick up tulips. It looks cute.
Yeah.
And then the bathroom, I have this display that's just little on the wall. Like put them in there, and you told me this. Tulips are the only flower that continue to grow after you cut them, and I remember
Not the only one, but the only one that I know of that we use.
Okay, well,
So,
I'll have to tell Jackson the change then, because he repeats that fun fact to people.
Okay. Huh.
Because they help me do the flowers around the house.
So tulips aren't your favorite flower?
In my home.
Let's go backward.
In my home. Tulips are my favorite flower to use in my home. Wedding flowers, I don't know.
Other fun fact, in the old school florist taught me this, that when we got tulips once for a wedding, and we got, like 500 tulips as part of the composition, right? And we're putting them into the buckets, and they're all like this. I'm like, they look like this.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do we do? She says, do you have any pennies? I said, yeah. She said, take some pennies, put them in the bottom of the bucket. Within 2 hours, they were erect.
That's crazy. Of course. I was waiting for the joke. I was waiting for it.
It's true, though.
Yeah.
It's not a joke. It's the true story. So
That's
anytime
wild.
you want your tulips to stand up straight, it's the copper.
Yeah.
It's the reaction.
Yeah.
So you put some pennies in the bottom of the... Does
it work just for tulips?
4 or 5 of them. Tulips are the only thing that I've had to use it for. That is, but...
Who knows?
Who knew?
I'll get Jackson on it. He'll do an experiment.
We have another kind of product that we that I call Viagra, that we put in the water
it helps.
for things that are kind of
a little floppy.
Yeah, a little floppy.
A little floppy.
Favorite moment of a wedding?
Room reveal.
I love a good room reveal.
My favorite.
Yeah.
My favorite. I can't enjoy the ceremony. I'm too amped up. Like, that is the most stressful part of the day for me.
Yeah.
Getting everybody lined up, being in 10 places at once, getting parents where they need to go, answering questions at the same time. Usually vendors are calling me with deliveries for reception at the same time.
Making sure the music is cute, making sure it's picture perfect. It's a lot.
But for me, the only time during the day that I really get time alone with the couple is the room reveal.
When do you do it generally? Is it like a typical?
I like to do it during cocktail hour.
Okay.
Just pull them away for 5-10 minutes. Photography is usually free because there's not a whole lot to shoot during cocktail hour. I can get the reactions, I can get the footage, and give them their photos. And it's so sweet because a lot of times they'll practice their first dance one more time. Just walk around. It's just before the room gets ruined by people. It's nice for them to see it.
We just did one a couple of months ago where it was before the ceremony. Which I
because
really
they did a first look.
liked that room reveal for the mom, the bride, all of it before the ceremony. And the only problem with that is the candles aren't lit.
Yeah.
So and
true.
it's not as dark outside and that sort of thing. But we had oodles of lighting and everything else, so it was pretty much there. Welcome party or farewell brunch?
Both.
Wrong answer. One or the other.
That's a tough one.
You started out really good at this.
Well, listen, I'm not getting better as I go, clearly. Welcome party if it's a party, not if it's a dinner. I think rehearsal dinners don't need to happen anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think they're expected. I think it ends up being it's not a welcome party should be that. It should be everybody coming together for the first time to celebrate a great weekend.
Yeah. And the energy and the anticipation.
Yes.
And all
Everyone
of
just
that
wants to
is-
talk. Everyone wants to be social. Maybe your flight got delayed. It doesn't matter. You can still pop in and say hi. If it's that kind of thing, I think welcome. If it's a sit down dinner, you don't need to do that.
Best send off.
Meg and Andrew's was pretty good. They did fireworks on the beach.
Yeah.
But it was because the reason I like it so much is because we did the welcome. That was a party. That was amazing for Meg and Ange. And Ange surprised Meg with Polynesian dancers at the welcome. And she only did it because I told her she needed to do something because Meg was surprising her with fireworks for the send-off. So it was kind of a funny story behind it with what they were trying to top the other person of their surprise.
And you're the only one.
I'm the only one who knows all of it, and I'm trying to balance and not tell anybody anything. That was pretty cool to have everybody, and the way that their story went, it was just a perfect ending for them to beginning to go out on the beach. There's pictures of them just holding hands, watching the fireworks. The families all around them. It was just kind of a cool moment.
It was a beautiful wedding.
Super cool.
Yeah, and for beautiful people.
Oh my gosh.
That was the one client that postponed 3 times, and I actually celebrated when they postponed because we got to have more time with them. Yeah,
I know.
Because despite what everyone says is, well, we're always going to be in your life, we're always going to stay in touch, everything else after they get married.
I talked to Meg yesterday.
Well, you're different. You're different.
No, I know.
Throughout the planning process, they're texting. You guys are going back and forth all the time.
Well, our kids are friends.
Well, there's that too.
Our kids are friends at this point, so they asked to play with each other and all the things. So,
got it.
Yeah, she actually just talked to the Casey Key client. She wanted to go through someone who had a similar situation where they want to do multi-day because these people want to book me Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday for 4 days. Meg and Ange had me booked for 3 years.
Yeah.
So hands down, this is who you need to talk to about the experience. And Meg called me afterwards and she was like, if they don't book you, I don't know what else to say, because I told them the whole story. I told them everything that we did and everything that we went through, and it was a great conversation.
Yeah.
And I had the mother, it was the mother of the bride actually doing not the bride, and she text messaged me and she said, great conversation, thank you so much, lovely person, and you have a big fan in her, just know that. Which was like, that's why we do what we do.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
It's about the connection.
Yeah.
Totally about
Yeah, 1000%.
We are so excited today to have Jennifer Matteo of JMEP, Jennifer Matteo Event Planning, to be a continuation of our wedding planner conversation. We think it's super important and super insightful for people to see and hear what goes on behind the scenes, what gives some insight into the way that other people think, that all these different facets of putting a wedding together, that they just think, it's a wedding, it's a party, let's just think, and clearly it's a little bit more involved than that, right?
I never thought of that a lot. And it's just normal check boxes, right? Oh my gosh, I never would have thought of that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Gives value to what we do a little bit.
It gives value of what we do, and I think that, you know, it's important for people to see that. So the more information that people have, then they can make educated decisions. Is the way that I like to do it. I say, you know, here's everything that you might think about for this. This is our recommendation, but these are all the thoughts behind it. Now you're empowered to make an informed decision. Whatever you make, we'll do. You know, I'm not. We don't have like some sort of
must-haves, must-dos.
Yeah. You know, or like if you come here it is.
Mm-hmm. No.
You know, and so education is super key for people that are getting married, and I think that this is helpful for people to understand a little bit more as to what goes into
putting it all together.
Well,
it's nice chatting with you.
Nice chatting with you.
Happy to be here, as always.
I love it. Can you intro your business for me?
Started the business out of frustration for my current position. I was always in events, always in the industry, was working for somebody else. It wasn't a good fit any longer, and I came home one day super frustrated, and my husband said, quit. And I, really? Like, it's just, you want me to quit my job? Yeah, quit. Just quit. You'll be fine. We'll be all right. Okay. So I did, and launched the company 2 weeks later. We did about 50 events our first year, did about 80 the second year, and climbed a bit during COVID because we all did with the amount of events that we did, and now we're back to a normal pace. But we opened because of, again, frustration, but I think we filled a niche. And to intro, I guess what we do is we want you to have a fun experience planning. I don't want it to be a business. It is, but I don't want it to feel that way. I want to get to know you. I want to get to know your family. I'm happy to talk to mom or your best friend or whatever, because I really do feel like planning with someone who you feel comfortable with is really important. Yeah. So that's kind of our model and what we try to do. Obviously, we keep style in mind. We keep luxury in mind. We want you to have a great experience, not just with, you know, every conversation hopefully being enjoyable. There are tough conversations that have to be had, but I think if you love what you do, which we do, it should show, and we get that feedback a lot from our clients, thankfully.
And I know that you guys do the whole team. You guys do a lot of events. How would you break up your segments of business in how much wedding work you do, how much corporate work you do, how much
private events,
whatever?
Yeah. Easily 80% weddings.
Yeah.
90% of them are destination clients, meaning they came here from somewhere else to get married. Yeah. Just nature of where we live, I think. We travel some, but I don't like to do more than 12 out of the state a year, just because of I want to be around for my kids. Yeah. And it's just too much.
Yeah.
And there's enough business to be had here, to be honest. So 80% weddings, 75% weddings, 20% corporate, and the rest is just a party, a baby shower. We might do 5 a year.
An
of something
elopement,
like
engagement, whatever.
Yeah. We're doing more corporate right now, actually.
That's cool.
Which is fun because it's different. It's different to style a corporate event than it is to style a wedding or a baby shower or a birthday party or any
we're
of that.
finally starting to see that market come back after COVID and after like the virtual world of work and all of that. Yeah, it's cool. I think that's a similar kind of breakdown of what we do too. Lion's share is weddings.
Yeah, absolutely. And the emotion that goes into weddings for me is why I love them so much. They are very challenging to navigate the waters of all the different players, if you will, in the game. There's usually a mom and there's a dad. Obviously, there might be step parents that are involved who's paying for it. It's very hard to make everybody happy, but we try really hard to hear everyone. And then in the end of the day, the client, the couple is who we're aiming to please.
Of course. Yeah.
So it's their decision in the end, but we like to, like you said, give all the options to everybody, and then we'll make it happen.
Company mission.
Stress-free, enjoyable process. Giving back. I love doing our philanthropic events every year. I think it's super important to have community involvement. Not just because it's, what you're supposed to say, but I really love doing our events that we do for Satchels every year. We do fundraisers. We got a lot of support when we did the Hurricane Ian fundraiser that we did right after the hurricane. We do a lot, like I said, with Satchel's Last Resort, just because that's where Bob came from. And they are volunteer-based. They have no funding whatsoever. Yeah. So we do a drive for them every year. We do an event for a fundraiser, or I involve them in as much as I can. Because I think it's super important. We are, where we live, we're so lucky, right? It's beautiful here. We all, live a nice life. And I think that to give back to the people who may have been affected in a negative way in some point of their life is really important. We did a donated wedding when I first started the company for that reason, because I thought it was super important to give back. It was a military couple. I don't know if you know this story.
I don't know that story, yeah.
It was a military couple. iHeartRadio came to me and said, we have this couple who, she's a wonderful human. She was in the military, isn't anymore. He just finished up. They want to get married. They don't have the funds to do so. Can you help us? And sure, it's one of those yes things, right? I didn't even.
How do you say no? How do you say no?
So it was actually amazing. It was the year we launched Jam EP, and her name was Carrie. I still talk to her. We did her wedding for her. Venue comped. Everybody comped every single thing. Wow. Her wedding band, her ring, everything.
Wow.
He proposed to her on stage at an iHeartRadio concert in Sarasota. And it started from there. And then I came out and they announced that their wedding was going to be gifted to them.
That's fantastic.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. What ignited your passion for the industry?
I think passion in general, right? Passion feeds passion. Is that allowed? Is that a fair answer? I don't know.
It's your answer.
I've never not been a planner, even when I wasn't paid to do so. It's just the way I am. Yeah. I don't sit still. I plan everything all the time with life. It's just the way that it is. My mom, it wasn't a choice growing up.
That's why you and my husband get along so well.
Yeah, right? It wasn't a choice. You know how to set a table. You know how to have a dinner party. And it's not that we grew up affluent. We didn't. Yeah. But you just know how to do these things. Yeah. And it comes very naturally. And before I even had the business, we would constantly have stuff at the house. Just even if it's just having somebody over for dinner, it needs to look beautiful or be thoughtful, or make sure
personal touches.
Exactly. So I really do think my passion for the industry is I genuinely wake up every day and I don't go to work. It's just my life. It's what I do. It's what I love, and it's the kids know it. My husband knows it. He's he doesn't know. He's in it. I don't want to say it's a family business, but I mean it is.
Yeah.
He's as excited about the new projects as I am. Like when he gets to engineer something. Most days. Sometimes he gets annoyed with me because I give him too much, but he loves it. He loves the challenges. Like he loves figuring that stuff out.
He's amazing.
He's so good. He's so good.
Yeah. The sketches he sent the other day.
Yeah. He's so good.
What attracted you to Taylor Twig?
You sent me flowers, Darin.
Did I?
Yeah, this is the story. No, it's truthfully. I am very, very fussy in nature about most things.
You?
A little bit.
Jennifer Matteo?
A little bit. So Matt won't buy me flowers. He won't do it unless he orders them from you or calls and has them delivered.
Yes.
Accurate. And I got these flowers one day and I was like, this is not a normal delivery. And I called you immediately after. I had no idea who you were because you were newish.
No, we weren't. We were new in Sarasota. We were marketing.
That's what I'm
in
saying.
Sarasota.
That's what I'm saying. You were newish to me.
Yeah.
I was new. I just kind of started getting bigger events.
Yeah.
And I came up and we chit-chatted for a little while, and here we are.
Here we are.
The
rest is history.
It's just your uniqueness. You have a style that is unlike anything else, and I can pick out your work immediately. On Instagram, when I see posts, I don't even know it's yours. I'm like, oh, what are they doing now? Because I can tell it's you, because you're just different, and that's great. Everybody has a niche.
Yeah, ours is different.
Yours is different. You think differently, and that's okay.
Yeah, I celebrate that.
Use some cool shit that nobody's seen before. It's great.
Yeah, whatever garbage we can find floating around.
Whatever you got,
throw it in there.
Stick it in there. Yeah. Looks great. Casey loved her arrangement, by the way. Thank you.
Good. As long as it gives movement and evokes passion and evokes a feeling, that's what we're totally all about. Tailored Twig, I have to read this one because it's a little long, so I apologize for not looking at you.
That's okay.
Tailored Twig mission is centered around connection, not only to the clients we serve, but those we work with. The benefits of this connection is far-reaching. Can you summarize the value you find in creating long-term relationships with industry partners?
There is a night and day difference between working with vendors as a team than there is with working with people who they, meaning the clients, have found independently of my suggestions for whatever reason. Sometimes it's a great ending, but it's just not as it's just not as liquid. I don't know the best way to
flow.
It doesn't.
It's not as
Yeah.
cohesive.
Because I mean, sometimes we meet great vendors that we've never worked with before, and that's fantastic. Yeah. But you can pretty much tell from the first conversation, at least I can, that I have with said person if it's going to be a good fit or not. Yeah. We worked with a new photographer for the Barry wedding. Mm-hmm. I was very nervous because her work was beautiful, but how are you as on site? Because it was 3 days with them. Yeah. And she was lovely. She was great. Yeah. She was very creative. She was easygoing. She got her work done. Her pictures are beautiful.
Yeah.
So that was fantastic.
Yeah,
I still talk to her.
They took all the boards and laid on top of the flowers and all of that stuff. And
I still talk to her sometimes. I talked to her this week actually. So sometimes it's a great outcome when new players come into our little team, but sometimes it's not, and it's almost like stranger danger.
It's an important balance in my view, because I think that it seems to me like people go either to one extreme or the other. They either have a team and that's the only team that they use, and then all of a sudden everything that goes out the door looks the same.
Yep.
Have the same set of rentals, have the same set of flowers, have the same set of venues, have the same set of et cetera, band, all of it, cake, all of it.
My Sam, who does all my creative now, one of her jobs is to search out new venues, search out places that I don't know about, big, small, it doesn't matter. Get me in there, let me see it. Because there's going to be a bride sometime, or a groom, or a couple, or whatever, that's going to be a perfect fit for that place. And my job is to know my market.
Yeah.
Same with rentals. Did a new rental place open up? I need to know about it. What's your inventory? Let me see it. Yeah. Because I don't want to use the same thing all the time.
I mean, same as us. We don't want to. We hate making the same.
If there were
certain
standard rental items that I could never use again, I would. Yeah. But some brides just want what they want, and that's our job to give it to them. Yeah. It's happy to make suggestions, but it's always nice to have new, different, shiny things that nobody's seen before. I get super excited when new linen books come out.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I actually just got an email before you walked in the door saying we have the new samples for you.
Love that.
The other thing that with regard to this is that in my view, and this is just me, there are a lot of planners that say, it's my job to interview the client and appropriately place them with the right vendor that fits their look, style, vibe, personality, budget, etc. And I hear that from virtually every planner. But there are very few planners that actually do that. The ones that do it are the ones that, in my view, that really exceed in expectations and excel in their job, you know?
I agree. And as much as I love, we probably have 24 photographers that we work with, and there has to be variance.
Yeah.
There has to be variance.
Yeah.
I don't like picking vendors until our inspo mood board is done, because that speaks to everything for me. Photography, video, invitations, everything. I don't want you to book anybody, because until we have this visual done, there's no way for me to know what the end result is going to be.
Yeah, it's just like you have a dozen florists you work with. You don't call me for every event that you do.
Just, and you don't get mad at me for it usually. Sometimes you give me a hard time.
Usually, if we're slow, I'm like, Jen, what's happening? You
Jen,
know,
I need a client. Here you got. But I just think it's super important. If you have a light and bright or an airy palette, then I need a photographer that's going to photograph it the right way. If we have a moody palette, then I need a photographer that's gonna like the edit has to be right.
And same with lighting, and same with all of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's not one size fits all. Yeah.
And I know earlier I answered moody. Light and bright has a place.
Yeah.
It has a beautiful
We've done
place.
some really amazing light and bright weddings.
I mean, it has a place. It does. It can happen. I also love color.
That one in Lakewood Ranch sticks out in my head.
That was beautiful.
Was really lovely.
It was really, really, really. I actually I talk to them all. Still, I see her mother at the beauty bar all the time, Maria.
Okay.
Yeah, it's so funny how you just like hang on to people. Because I turned them on to going to see Kelly, because that's who did all of her hair and makeup, and they still go there. Yeah. Small world.
What distinguishes you from other planners?
I think what I hear from most people is that I'm approachable.
Really?
I get that a lot.
Okay.
I get a lot of, oh my gosh, this was a great conversation. Okay, cool. Like, let's be friends.
Yeah, you have a way of just diving into topics that some people might pussyfoot around.
I just have no fear, and I don't care. I lost my give a damn a long time ago as far as what people think, I think. I do. I get that a lot. I get a lot of, this was really great. Like, I enjoyed our conversation. I don't make it like an interview.
Yeah.
I don't have a laundry list of questions I ask. I make it conversational because I want to get to know you. Yeah. Truly. Because if I can't get to know you, we don't know if this is a good fit.
Yeah.
One of the first things I ask is, tell me about you. I don't care where your wedding is yet. I don't care when it is yet. I want to tell me about you. What do you guys do for fun? How did you meet? Yeah. Usually it's like Tinder and they laugh, and it's the norm right now. So I like to get to, do you have dogs? Do you like cats? Because do you like to be outside? What do you do for a living? Do you travel a bunch?
Yeah.
All that stuff is super important.
I mean, the next consultation's bringing their Frenchie.
Yeah, absolutely. She's lovely. You're going to love her.
It's a first.
They're so cute. But I think I just make it fun. Like, I love what I do, and I want to have fun because I work a lot. So let's make it fun for everybody.
Yeah.
And I think it should be like a relationship.
Monumental occasion too. So you want the whole.
I want to build a relationship. That's a great way to say it. Yeah. I build a relationship with our clients, and that's why we don't take on everybody, because not everybody's a good fit. Yeah. Just like I don't want everybody. I used to. Yeah. I don't anymore. Yeah. I want the couples that we can make something really great together. Yeah. Together.
Yeah. We share that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Craziest wedding scenario?
When the florist didn't show up.
That wasn't me.
No, of course not. Of course not. Never would that happen. You go to other states for me and travel.
We're usually early.
Yeah, no, you guys are great.
Yeah.
A florist legit didn't show up. This was last season. Did I not tell you this story?
No.
It was at Pal Crosley, and the couple was really sweet. And they hired this, they were budget conscious, which is fine. We don't have a budget that we take. I take everything into account, and if I feel that I can make you happy based on your budget and your expectations, I'm fine with it. And they used a florist I don't really know, have never heard of really before. They found them. Again, stranger danger, which is why you hire people that we know so we can say that they're good. But they didn't show up. I started calling them. They were supposed to get there, I think it was 1 o'clock. Everything was confirmed. They had all their paperwork prior. Wow. Everything was done. We knew their arrival time, like all of it. It was like 1:30. And we started calling, wondering where they were. Because they came from like 2 hours away. So maybe traffic, maybe they got held up, whatever. Don't answer the phone. Don't answer the phone. Don't answer the phone. It was 3. The wedding was at 5. And finally, we just started calling people. It was a Sunday, thank God.
Yeah.
So several florists in the area had leftovers that they were, like from the arrangements, they just didn't have them disassembled and gone yet. So they came to the rescue, and we put all these flowers together, neutral tones. That's what they wanted, thank God. It wasn't what they wanted, but it looked beautiful. You never would have known. We made a bouquet for her. We did boutonnieres. Didn't say a word, because I'm not telling you your florist isn't here right before your wedding. So we did a room reveal after ceremony, and she was like, this is beautiful, thank you so much. And then I told her, and she's, you have to be kidding me. Yeah, and the groom did ask me while we were pinning his boutonniere, this looks different than what I thought. And then I said, I'll tell you about it later. But yeah, I mean, thank God. That's why we have industry partners. Because they came to the rescue, literally. Otherwise, there would have been no florals.
If you didn't have regular people that you worked with, you'd have no connection, no juice, no anything.
That was the wildest thing.
Wow.
I think there's notes of things that I keep a journal just because I forget them. But the most recent big problem was that.
It's interesting how your problems are different than my problems.
What's your problems?
Well, I had a whole truck full of flowers freeze.
Yeah.
That was a big problem.
Yeah.
A really big problem. It took 18 of us 8 hours to make what all froze. And here we are with a limited amount of time before we need to deliver.
That my wedding?
What's that?
Was that my wedding?
No, not your wedding.
I was going to say, I don't think I
But
heard.
it happened during Barry.
Did it? Oh.
Yeah, the other wedding that we were doing.
Oh, that's why I know about it. That's why I know about it. Oh, that weekend was crazy.
So we had to scour the earth for flowers, expedite them here, stay up till the wee hours of the morning, the whole 9 yards, and it was all because the mechanics on a rented truck were faulty.
Gosh, it's so like the things you have to think of.
Things you don't think you have to think of, you know what I mean? And then
you would never be like, let me get extra flowers.
But the client never knew.
Yeah, well, that's the main thing. And that's the moral of that story is like, there's going to be things that happen. That's a big thing. That's a big thing that happened. But we're going to fix it. And that's why we're there. And that's our job most of my job is fixing things. I can pick pretty things, but most of it is fixing things. It's just the way that it is.
What was the resolution with that? Like, did you ever get in contact with the florist after?
Eventually, her sister-in-law called. She was lying. It was she fucked up somehow.
The florist.
Yeah. Now I did my homework. So the sister-in-law called finally. It was like 6 o'clock. And said, I'm so sorry, whatever her name was, Christine was in a car accident this morning. On her way, she got in a car accident, and she said with the road, I forget what it was. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, what time was that? And she told me it was like 10:30 in the morning. Like, okay. And they said she didn't have anybody else to deliver the flowers. She's fine. It was a whole big thing. So I looked on the traffic reports to see if there was any accidents on that road at that time. There was no accidents. So she either forgot about the wedding, which I don't know how, because we send out. We send out all the reminders.
And the client sends out the check.
We did get her refunded. We got her fully refunded. So she ended up making a couple grand on the deal because she didn't have to pay for flowers because they were reused flowers. But
wow.
Yeah, I was not thrilled. We won't use her again.
Obviously. Advice on finding the right wedding planner.
I think you have to have a real conversation. None of this like, you have to get to know them as a person, almost like a first date. Like, I'm serious. You're gonna talk to me in the next year more than you're talking to your fiance, probably, because that's just how much conversation has to happen. And if we aren't on the same page, it's just not. So let's be honest. Let's talk about it. I always talk about my kids, my first meeting, because I want them to know that I have kids. And if I take a meeting in the evening, I'm more than happy to, but you're probably going to hear me yelling at my kids during the meeting. It's just the way that it is.
You yell at your kids?
They're awful. They're very spirited, Darin. They're very spirited.
That's what happens when you have 2 boys.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. It's so much. But I want you to know my family just like I want to get to know yours and understand what do you do for a living? What do your work hours look like? When is a better time for you to meet? What does that look like? How is communication? I don't like texting about your wedding.
Yeah.
I will do it if it's a one little thing here and there, but I don't want to text.
Yeah.
Is that going to work for you? Because I'm not.
Email and conversation
phone
is the best, yeah.
Email and
Yeah,
phone or
I
in
agree
person.
I agree with that.
And if that's a deal breaker, I'd rather have that conversation at the beginning than have that conversation when you're frustrated.
It just gets
because it's too many.
lost.
And
There's too
Instagram,
much, yeah.
don't message me on Instagram about your wedding.
Yeah,
you have
yeah,
my
yeah,
phone
yeah,
number.
yeah.
It's too many. Too many ways, forms of communication. Something will get lost.
Yeah.
So we just have an honest conversation.
Yeah.
I don't know. I prefer that, because if it's just like a fill out a questionnaire,
Yeah.
it's flat.
Yeah. It doesn't tell you anything,
No.
anything tangible.
No.
So when we're talking about advice on finding the right wedding planner, is it safe to say that what you're saying is that, some of these people say, fill out this questionnaire. Let's give me a phone call. Come to my studio and have a consultation. The right thing to do is to sit down with them and have a conversation and really understand if this is someone that you're going to be able to work with for the next year or 6 months or 18 months or what have you.
Everybody, I think everyone has a different right answer.
Yeah.
My right answer is I love the human touch.
Yeah.
I love that connection that you can make with people when you're in person.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that that's not always possible, because we do plan so many weddings for people who aren't here, and Zoom and or FaceTime and all of that is a good substitute.
Yeah.
I still would. I want to feel you. I want to know you. I want to hug you. I want to build a relationship. If that's possible, absolutely. I want you to come to the studio. Come see what we do. Come see what our aesthetic is, because it's super fun. It kind of reflects on our brand when you come into the studio.
Feels so foreign to me. COVID really brought this on, to have a client that we only see on a screen until the day of their wedding.
Absolutely.
And since then, there's been several instances of that. And for me, it just ramps up this anxiety of there's not an established connection. There's not and that's assuring to me. It's warm and fuzzy, and that's what we do this for.
It's really, really nice when we have the luxury of having our clients either here or when they're not here. I always kind of say, if I can get you once or twice, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I would love you for show table, because I want you to touch and feel and see and do. It's part of the process, and it's my favorite day in your planning, because it really gets you excited about all of it. If I can't get you, it's okay, and we'll make it work. But in a perfect world, that's my preference.
What I love about working with you is that you almost mandate that they come to Taylor Twig.
I have to. It's the same experience. It's like our studio speaks volumes to who we are as a company and as a culture. It's fun. It's colorful. It's pattern play. It's stuff may or may not match, but it's there, and there's Bob the dog, and it's craziness all at the same time. But it gives you an insight into us, and things carry an energy a bit. Spaces carry an energy, I think, a little bit. And when you walk into a space and you feel good, or you feel stagnant, or you feel excited, or you feel challenged. He's snoring.
And there's Shadrach.
He's snoring, which speaks to the space. It gives you kind of an insight on what this is going to look like. So I love when people can come in. I love when vendors can come in. I love taking meetings in my space. I love coming to your space, obviously, because it speaks to what you do. You can pull stuff, just like Wade was like, we have stock in the back. Come see. Like, that stuff is
There's so many
super
tangible
important.
things that we offer that you almost have to come here in order to really wrap your head around it.
You can't pull all this stuff and bring it in.
Unless you're like, I
In a
100% trust you and have at it kind of thing.
In a pinch, we can do it at our studio, but it's better to just come here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love the conversation that we've had so far, and I really think that, working with a multitude of wedding planners gives us drastically different approaches on doing the same thing, which is super cool. It's just like, I mean, we have freelancers that come in here from outside of state that help us materialize large scale events, that the way they do their business is completely different than ours. They look at us and they're like, I would hate to have your business. And I look at them like, I would hate to have your business. So I think that it's super cool that we can all exist in this space and do essentially the same thing, but do it just a little bit more personalized and different. Hey, bud. Hi. Down. Couple of closing questions just to wrap this up.
Yeah, for sure.
Anything on the horizon that excites you?
So much, so much. We recently kind of took a fresh look and approach at the business model, and I am so excited to be reinserting myself personally into every single event. Unfortunately, during COVID, there was so many that I couldn't do that, and we kind of got away from us a little bit just due to abundance, and I never wanted to say no to a bride who was displaced or had to change date or any of that. So
the floodgates open.
It was wild. But we're back to normal, and I genuinely love having those conversations. I want to be your person. I want to have all of the conversations with you. So we've restructured a little bit. We're taking on less. We're more involved, and it's been fantastic. Fantastic. It's reassuring for me, and it's why I love that connection.
It sounds to me like you've had a similar experience that I have had. I mean, and it has just reinvigorated me into like, this is why I do this. This is what this is all about. Being up higher and having all the people doing. I was like, what am I doing this for? I'm running a business, and I was
doing spreadsheets and paying bills, and it wasn't fulfilling for me. So I would rather be more thoughtful about the projects that we take on, and be more thoughtful about the way they're executed, and that's what we've started to do. The best thing for me is, for us, we're on site the longest out of any of the vendors. We arrive early and we are there late, and it's usually 18-hour days. When I wake up in the morning after your wedding and I have a text message sitting in my phone, either from mom or from groom or from bride or from bride or from bride or whatever, saying thank you, this was unbelievable, it is 1,000% worth all of it.
The mandated salt bath, the foot rub. Because the day after a wedding, I don't want to do much. I can't. I'm old, and my body hurts, and I'm sore, and it's usually Sundays are very low key for us. Because they have to be. But it's just worth it when I get that. Thank you so much from whoever it comes from. It's just. Not only that, also the whole thing of seeing what was in your head come to reality. There's nothing more magical than that happening, and then it being reaffirmed by mother of the bride walking in and tears welling up, and bride walking in and her, all of it.
Or I love a guest. I love an Uncle Joe who has had nothing to do with anything, and thank you so much. This is the best wedding I've ever been to. This is beautiful. I don't know how you do what you do, but thank you for taking care of my niece, my neighbor, my whatever it might be. It's nice that they'd go that extra mile to say that extra thank you, because it really does resonate. Like, we remember that stuff.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years, and where do you see this industry in 5 years?
I can look back at 5 years ago and we were in a very different place. I mean, even with availability of items, I mean, the sky's the limit with beautification of an event these days, because the rentals are crazy. You can get anything that you want. So I'm sure that's going to continue. I love the fact that it's super diverse. I love the fact that everything is readily available. The world is our oyster, and we can just make it whatever we want. There's pink plates, there's green plates, there's red plates, there's black plates, there's flatware for days. There's never ending options, when 5 years ago that wasn't the case.
It wasn't the case.
It was not the case.
There were 5 chair options that were readily available.
And we're connected enough that if there's a specific thing that we want and we ask for it and they know that they're going to make money on it, vendors will bring it in.
Yeah.
So all of those things are fantastic. So as far as industry, I think it's just going to get better. As far as JMEP, I really think the same. We're really excited about some projects that we're taking on. Yeah. Really excited about the venue that we're representing, and I think that's going to be a huge event. Like, it's going to be a huge deal once we get the word out there.
Yeah, we have some exciting projects. We have some imagery together coming up.
We do. We do. I'm excited. We have some good stuff. So it's going to be good. I think the fall. I actually was talking to Sam about this yesterday, and the fall calendar, it's like week after week of just good stuff.
That's awesome.
And it's great.
You gotta bring some here.
I just brought 2. Here we go.
I love this question, and I don't recall when I set this list of questions up, but there's somebody that does I think it might be RuPaul, that does a series of questions, and the last question is always this one, and I think it's brilliant. Given your vast life experience, what advice would you give yourself at 5 years old?
So shockingly, I was a challenging child.
Imagine that.
My mom tells a story of I asked the weirdest questions and just wanted to know everything about everything. And my kids do the same thing to me, and it drives me crazy. But I would just say, do that more. Ask questions. Understand the world. Don't understand the world, but ask questions to move forward. Don't be like everybody else. There's a quote, I actually have it in our studio. It's by Salvador Dali, and it says, "You're not strange, you're just not normal." And I love that, because I think speaks to how we do things, not even just business, but it's just who I am as a person. I've never been one to conform. I've never been one to do what you do. I always
wants to be
do a little different,
like everyone else.
And it's always been good, great, and also when you're growing up, a little difficult, because
it constantly causes challenges.
I've never thought about things the same way anybody else ever has.
Yeah.
And part of me, I tell Matt all the time, like, I really would love to just be okay with okay, and I'm not. So here we go. So I think just that would, I would love to just be able to go back and say, keep doing what you're doing, just do it more, and don't feel bad about it. Because there was a lot of times, especially like, not so much 5, but teenage years, where why am I over here when there's a lot of people that I was never like, I was never in the group of like the normal kids. Like I wasn't.
I mean, you can imagine.
Yeah. Like I wasn't so far left. I was always in athletics. I was always kind of like into all of that stuff, but I was always, I was in art school, and I was doing creative, and I was doing this, and I was doing that, and it kind of felt a little like, am I supposed to be doing this? Like, I think not doing what you're supposed to do is always a good idea. Maybe.
It has been such a wonderful conversation. As always, we really love having you in our space. Super grateful that you took the time to come here. Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
It's been a pleasure for me. Thank you.
I love you, Jen.
Love you.
That's a wrap.